So, in a discussion of emotional reset or emotion reset, as we've shared in the last couple of days, if you're on track, I'm not going to say if you're caught up with us, but if you're on track, what you know is we've talked affirmations, we have discovered about speaking them out, and then a lot of times we find there's some resistance, some nagging voice, some obnoxious something that is, as I like to say, busting your chops. And many times that comes with just a negative memory. It's the enemy of your soul. Gosh, there's so many things I can tell you as I was going through here, just thinking about what do I want to tell this group? What is it that I need to share with you guys for emotion reset? 1,000 things. It's fine. I won't share 1,000 things right this moment. But today for day 5, if you look back, we talked about releasing negative thoughts and memories. And go in the group if you're somebody who likes to read. And if you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook, whatever, my page, then you can pop over to 21 and 21 and you'll see the walkthrough when you're doing it yourself. There's also some emotions and what they tend to mean that I went ahead and wrote. I'm not going to take the time and go through all those because I want to keep this pretty brief and really more about the task at hand. But one of the things that I have learned about emotional healing and really busting through those barriers and removing the voices or the blocks or whatever it is in your path is when somebody walks you through it, it's much more powerful than when you walk yourself through it. So I've done this, what I'm going to share with you, and I learned it from Dr. Perkis. So don't think it's like the world according to Jen Weir that I came up with this. I can't take credit for 99.99% of the things that I share with you. It's the Lord gave it to me, either just through a download he spoke to me, or I watched somebody else and the Lord was like, you need to tell other people that. And what I've learned is when I got certified in AFT and then in emotion coaching, there were times I still need someone to walk me through, someone who's trained to do this. And I'll say this because I think many of you use your friends. I need to say this. Many of you use your friends as sounding boards. That's not a bad thing. They're just not trained. Does that make sense? A lot of times friends will they'll speak from their own pain. They'll speak from their own experience. Many times they're looking at you in your situation through a filter of what they would do if they were in your shoes. And it is what it is. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. And I have found that my son had cancer. I lost a baby. My little girl was born with the organs outside her body, and my husband recently died. All of those things that I have walked through, this has been my experience. If I text a friend and share an emotion, I have to know that many times they're going to speak back to me from their lens. So there's that. The point is, your friend, your confidant, probably is not going to walk you through an emotional healing. They probably aren't going to know the tools or the words to say to pull it out of you. So here we are on a live. This particular 21 and 21 interval, if in a perfect world, I would love to do this more on video because so much of the written word where it's powerful and it's prophetic, it's really good. But it's kind of like when you read the scriptures, don't you just wish that Paul was like right in your face, like explaining, what did you mean by that? Or just hear the inflection in his voice. Sometimes I read Paul's letters, I'm like, he's kind of sassy. Because again, I'm viewing it through my lens. So as we walk through this day 5, releasing negative thoughts and memories, this also speaks to releasing those voices, those blockers, pushing past them, because it's going to remove the barriers that might be hindering you from moving forward and from doing a daily reset. And so the oils that you want to have: lavender, frankincense, and stress away. This is a blend. There's a reason why Dr. Perkis came up with it. Each oil in their own right, they're powerful. Lavender, there's a ton of studies done where lavender is considered sedative. Frankincense quiets the mind, but it also helps open up the, I'm losing my thought. Hold on one sec. The amygdala, the limbic system, that area, and then stress away. So the cool thing about stress away, and I'll say this to my Young Living friends, is we have vanilla now. So if you don't have stress away, or maybe you're not a huge fan of stress away, you can use vanilla, because it's really the vanilla that we need to make this the most perfect trifecta of emotional releasing. So when you use your frankincense, lavender, stress away / vanilla, whichever you choose, pairing them together will help open up your limbic system, open up the amygdala. And I got to tell you something else, that somebody needs to hear this. Many of you can't hear the voice of God because your little pineal gland is all crusted over because of fluoride and crap and things that have happened to you in your life. It actually gets damaged. That last statement literally has nothing to do with what we're about to talk about, but somebody needed to hear that's why you don't hear. Maybe it's all of you. I don't know. There's that. Okay, side note, right? Now then, when you walk through an emotional releasing, so when you do this on your own, which you can, it's just so much better so many times to have someone speak this to you, so you can listen to somebody else's voice and then breathe and say, okay, this is normal, da 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 da. But when you do this, you want to have some time. Anytime I share about essential oils, the biggest thing I say is this is not something to be rushed. In the United States, in our culture, we're so freaking busy. It's probably the number one reason so many of you had a full-blown come apart, that you were locked down last year. Yeah, mandates, all that. But the number one thing in the first month that I watched, because I'm a people watcher, I've been watching people for 100 years, right? The number one thing I saw is like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And da-da-da. You're so used to going and being super, super, super busy that actually stressed you out, which was like a catalyst of all kinds of stressors, right? But that stresses you out more. And so when it comes to essential oils, like I'll take my cedar wood here and I slowly put it in my hand and I slowly breathe it in and I experience the oil. But in our culture, what we do is we slap it on and we barely put the cap on. And, okay, good. All right, here we go. That smells like cat pee, or it smells really good. Whatever. Okay, I got to go. I'm at the door. No, this isn't a shot in the arm. This is something to be experienced. It's just like the Word of God. Nothing drives me more bananas than the 5-minute devotions that, are out there now. It's like, 5 minutes with God. It's like you're going, cheers, God. Have a nice day. It's not how a relationship's supposed to be. It's not how we're supposed to be with our oils. It's certainly not what we need to do when we're dealing with emotions. Got to get it out. And sometimes it takes time. Now, lavender, frankincense, stress away, or vanilla. What you're going to do before you put them in your hand. Now, I love when I walk people through this in person. I'm like, oh, did I say put it in your hand? It's like Simon Says. Simon says, put it in your hand. Put it in your hand. Okay, don't do that because I didn't say Simon Says, right? So right now, just hear me. So you're going to take out a piece of paper and a pen, pencil, crayon, whatever, marker. And this is for releasing negative thoughts, negative emotions. This isn't to discover why you can't get through something. I know it's been a long time since I've listened to Dr. Perkis talk. He might talk about something completely different now. But when I went through the training, the AFT, Aroma Freedom Technique, was use these 3 oils, like write down a goal. I want to lose 100 pounds in a month. And which I'm laughing, I'm like, well, we all know why that can't happen. But you write it down and say, I'm going to lose 100 pounds in a month. And all of a sudden you hear this voice of why that can't happen. So you do your oils and find out why. What's the blocker? Well, that's kind of unreasonable. Or let's say I'm going to run a marathon. And so you walk through that. It's goal setting. It's kind of pushing past the blockers that are keeping us from the things that we need to do. There's this other aspect of trauma releasing that he teaches. And it's where you know something is what's blocking you. You're just not sure why. It could be maybe you know about a traumatic event, or you're like, oh dear God, every time I cook this food, it makes me think of this really bad time. And so you're wanting to remove that memory. I hope that's making sense. I'll say this. Many people have the trauma imprinting from 2020. And so like every time you hear a thought about, a mandate, a this or that, you start to well up and you get stressed out and start freaking out and whatever. That's the time you'd want to do this particular thing we're going to talk about. So this week, as you wrote down your affirmations and, you heard the voice, you heard the this or that, those are the things we're going to remove. So what I'd love for you to do is write down what the voices are saying. And when I say that, I got to come up with a different thing because it sounds like everybody has voices in their head. Well, it's kind of true. I heard a guy say one time, Christians will say, well, there's not a demon around every corner. He's like, yeah, they're right. There's 5. So people in church don't talk like that. I'll talk like that because I went to Massachusetts and I saw people manifest and their face melt when I put some divine release on. So experience trumps knowledge, right? So those voices, they're quite literally demons sitting on your shoulder, whispering in your ear. So we're going to get rid of them using God's words and drops. So you're going to write down what they say. You're going to write down everything that they make you feel, or that you feel when you hear those thoughts, or even just think about it in your head. Possibly conjure up every negative emotion that you would feel. In my situation, it occurred to me the other night that my husband's never coming back. That was kind of a slap in the face. I'm like, oh, he's really not coming back. That was hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. And so I use my oils because I want to move through that emotion and I want to get in on the other side. You know what I mean? So there's facts, there's truths, there's things to push through. All of it is we want to feel as much as we can with the negative emotion, the thing that's weighing us down, and then we want to push through it and be able to get in on the other side. I really am praying this is all making sense to you guys. All right, so you're going to write all that down. Hopefully you've been writing as I've been talking. That was the whole point of me talking. Let me just give you, I'll go ahead and read these emotions that I wrote while you're writing. So bitterness, if you're feeling bitterness, this shows where you need to heal. Okay, so where you're still holding judgments, maybe toward others or yourself. Resentment. This shows that you might still be living in the past and not allowing the present to come to fruition. Resentment is such a killer, and it's really unnecessary. It serves no purpose. Anger shows what you're passionate about, where your boundaries are, what you believe that needs to change. Disappointment. This is probably the most encouraging negative emotion because it shows that you tried something and you put yourself out there and that you're not apathetic, that you care. The other side of it is it can be one of the most crippling emotions because it can cause you to not want to go forward and try again or believe another day. Disappointment is rough and good all at the same time. Shame, this is, shame is ugly, and it's the biggest one we all need to get rid of. The biggest. Because shame, let's get rid of it immediately. It shows that you internalize other people's belief. It's time to connect with your own beliefs. There's that. And then sadness, again, it shows that you care. It's just like anger. Sadness is needed. Tears are soap for the soul. So as we walk through this, if tears come, let them go. Keep Let the tears come. The hardest thing for me, because I was a hairdresser for so long and I want my makeup to always look good, is when I cry. Because I'm so vain. I'm like, I don't want to cry because my face gets really puffy. It's vanity. So silly. But it's important. Also, when you cry, sometimes it makes other people feel uncomfortable. Going back to that shame, I do a lot of things now that make people feel really uncomfortable. Somebody said to me the other day, wow, that post was really vulnerable. I'm like, I know. It is what it is. Sorry if it made you feel uncomfortable or whoever, or sorry if my tears do, but I have to get it out. Otherwise, it just sits there. Anyhow, I could go on. Now, Simon says, take your oils. So we're going to take our oils. 1 drop lavender, slowly, friends. Because, did you notice that when you put it in your hand, just the aroma of it just hits you already? Already, resentment is being released. Already, abandonment is being released just because your lovely lavender is hitting your sinuses and your amygdala and your limbic system. And then we're going to do frankincense. And frankincense mingled with that is a whole nother lovely blend. Frankincense is going to help us connect more with the Lord. Frankincense was in the holy anointing oil. There's a reason for it. I'm not going to get into it because this isn't an oil class. All right, so what I like to do is when I have those two, just kind of rub it around, get those molecules activated and release it, and just let my mind get used to it, right? Then we're going to take our stress away. Now it's going to be anybody's guess to see if I have any stress away. This is the most often used oil in my home. Most of my children hold their emotions in their belly, so they use this more than Digize. They use stress away over their stomachs, like 24/7 really. All right, so we got some stress away in there. And what you'll notice is this is the no duh statement of the world or the year, but it needs to be said. You're going to notice a completely different aroma than if you had these three together. I say that because many times people will go and they'll do this and it's too strong, or they just want to like wrap their face in it. Either way, or it is whatever, right? So depending on your level of comfort, you may take this and you might hold it way up here. You might only be able to do this, whatever your comfort level is. So I want you to just check it out and see where you sit with it. Where does your comfort level lie? I usually want to just shove it right up my nose. So as you're sitting here, we're going to have a few minutes where I'm not chattering on because that's what you need. Breathe it in. Let the molecules of the oil wash over your mind. Remember how we've discussed how to take deep breaths. If you're new to me, if you're new to this 21 and 21 interval set, go back and find the breathing video that we've done. If you're on my YouTube channel, it's the first one. You want to breathe from your belly. Let your stomach stick out. So do that. Let all the things that you wrote down, all the words, all the memories, all the, and breathe it in. Keep breathing. Take 4 deep breaths. I'm going to walk you through one set, and then you're going to keep breathing. Okay, ready? Take your hands and breathe 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Now exhale really hard. 2, 3, 4. See how that works? Now do it again, breathing in your oils, letting them wash over those memories like a little scrub brush. Let it scrub it all away. Now exhale, and then do it again. And every time you breathe in the oil, imagine every negative word being popped like a bubble, being brushed away, having 0 place in your mind. And then imagine on this last breath, a shiny, new, clean slate. A beautiful space for the Lord to come in and speak love to you, to speak healing to you, to bring you to a state of just unending peace. So if you have just breathed in these oils for 4 good breaths and you still feel a little sting, you still hear maybe some emotions that are not, or not hear emotions, hear some voices that are not life-giving, then what you're going to want to do is do this process again. What you can do, what I like to do, is open each oil and even just out of the bottle, kind of ask myself, which one do I prefer right at the moment? Is it Stress Away? Is it lavender? Is it frankincense? For me today, it would be Stress Away, hands down. Well, I don't know. I didn't give Frank a fair shake. Yeah, no, Stress Away. I might just go and do that process again with just one oil. I might even ask the question, is there another oil that I need? And if you're one who prays, the Lord will show you. These 3 are just something to get you going. But the point is you're going to want to do this breathing technique again. You're going to want to sit with these emotions and these thoughts again. And yes, Trauma Life would be a good one. Trauma Life is one I don't typically use for emotional releasing. I will use it if I know, Trauma Life is one that I actually use more often. It's just like an ongoing, like I'll breathe it in when I'm feeling the trauma imprinting, when I'm feeling just rolled over. There's a whole nother way, but all of that to say is yes, it would work. It's a preference thing. I should have started with that. Sometimes I use a lot of words to say something that really won a paragraph, or like a sentence rather than a paragraph, right? But it's preference. So these are just suggestions. They're not the end all be all. Cedar wood, guys, for all my friends who've taken my classes or who are in my downline, right? Cedar wood, it's $12. Who wouldn't have a bottle of cedar wood dotted in every room in their home? It's amazing. Okay, so that's that. For the rest of our time together in the emotion reset, we're going to be doing a rapid fire of trauma. We'll talk a little bit about trauma. We'll talk more about affirmations. We'll talk more about curating your circles. I've talked about that various times in different intervals. But what I want you to understand is this. 21 days is not going to be enough time for you to get a reset. I'm literally just giving you a taste, like an appetizer of emotional healing. I've been teaching emotional healing for going on 4 years now. I've actually been teaching it for about 5 years, but I've been doing it like this, more writing the courses and all that, for about 4 years. And what I know is this. It didn't take me 48 years. It took me 48 years to get to where I am emotionally, good, bad, and ugly. I'm not going to be able to get healed overnight. And neither are you. 21 days is just a teaser. So I want to encourage you to, if you're interested and say, I do want to be working on this. I want this to be a part of my daily life, just like taking your supplements, just like exercising. Emotional exercise, emotional releasing is a daily process. So I want to invite all of you guys to, I have this, it's a group that we do, just a little hangout spot. It's called the Healing Circle. And we get together. I share about 3 or 4 posts a week, and every other week I sit down on a Zoom call and just share some thoughts that are going to help you process. It's slow, it's gentle, it's at your own pace. little modules that you can peek in and out of, and you can hop in for a month and step out for a month. So it's a low investment, but I just want to encourage you. I have different levels actually I've got a whole course, anyhow, coaching, all of that. But for this setting, for you guys who are like, oh, I want to do emotional reset, consider diving into this healing circle with me. And with that, I will be all finished chatting at you. I hope you have an amazing day. Share this video, tell your friends, all the things, and let's get the world healed, guys. This is enough of this nonsense. Wouldn't you agree?
Good.